Howdy y'all, Q here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to suck less at vibrato. Let's get to it.
If you made it this far, welcome to the Q Show. Gonna learn a thing, it's probably in the title.
Alright, we gather here today to talk a little about vibrato. First thing I'm going to talk about is the one thing that I see a lot of guitar players do, whether they view themselves as a beginner or even intermediate. And the second thing is I'm going to break down 5 different vibratos that I see kind of around and give a little context and a explanation of their technique. With any luck, you guys will see something new or maybe get a little insight into the vibratos you already use. First thing, I see this all the time. When a guitarist will attempt a vibrato, they'll get a little tense, and what happens is they bend sharp. It would kind of sound like this. Or like, it can be cool and emotive used purposefully, but if all your vibratos sound like that, it probably doesn't sound very good. The solution to that is, besides relaxing, making sure that the string comes back to the original note. So if I just play a note and use vibrato, you can kind of hear that its pitch center remains kind of on the note itself. And that's that. If you think this might be you, please fix it. It's not your style, it's just bad. Alright, let's get into those vibratos. The first one, I'm just gonna call it like the normal vibrato, and it's the one where you anchor against the neck like this. It's kind of like opening a door, so the pivot point is here and your finger bends down to create the vibrato. It's gonna sound like this and look like this. And if you work with all your fingers, you can kind of get a little more versatility with it. That way your lick doesn't have to end like on a certain finger for you to get a good vibrato in. However, this vibrato has a problem. Because it bends down on the top string, it doesn't work. I looked around and I noticed guys like Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan were hitting it like this, where they anchor against the weight of the guitar. So if you're standing, it's even easier. You can let go of the whole neck. It's like a little showman trick, I guess. And that's pretty much it. You hit it, you bend up. The primary tension I find is going to kind of rest around this area of the finger, if that kind of helps you get the mechanics of that vibrato. And again, make sure you're bending back to center so it doesn't bend sharp. There was a very clever blues guitarist who got around all of this by implementing a pretty unique vibrato. I think he called it the butterfly vibrato, and that was B.B. King. I'm not very good at it, but you basically tremor the opposite direction and it kind of looks like this. I would encourage you to watch or listen to any recording of B.B. King. You'll hear him do it masterfully. Next, if you're the kind of guitarist that's like big on ergonomics, like you want to make sure you're thinking like this, good posture, all that good stuff, which is obviously to play as fast as possible is going to be important. Those vibratos I just described are pretty useless, especially in this position. So I've seen some guitarists actually do like a grip motion like this, where they'll hit a string and do that. You can actually hear me bending sharp there, and that's because I'm not practiced in this vibrato, so I get a little tense. See, it can happen to anybody. Last but not least, I see this one more on nylon strings, so like classical guitar playing or like flamenco, but it's where you hit a note and you bend back and forth, so it's kind of like a... Something to note about this vibrato is that it's the only vibrato that bends down and up. While I pretty much never use it on an individual note like that, maybe higher up you can kind of get some weight on it. I don't do that very often, but what I do all the time is use that on chords. It's the difference between and kind of adds like a vibrato effect, but like as defined by guitar effects. And to me, it can make your playing a lot more emotive. So like if you're just kind of holding a chord like this, you have every opportunity in the world to put your wrist into it a little and kind of do one of these. Which to me, done tastefully, can give your playing a little bit of emotive character. And there we have it, some tips and hopefully insightful info on vibrato. First, I would like to thank my Patreon supporters. Okay, none yet, but they're coming, I could feel it. If you like what you saw here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram and check out my Patreon. There's some cool little bonuses there. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time on The Q Show.